October 1st, and the number of days that I can go hiking and having fun down at the park are running out, so I've decided to pack it up and make another mileage run. I've modified the timing back there on whatever I got. It's not the igniter, it's the CompuFire. And I'm going to go fill up. Got the timing set at 7 degrees at idle, which I think will put me at the right, roughly, timing at highway speeds. So hopefully this mileage run works a little bit better than the last couple. And there's the first click. It's not a particularly hot day, so I decided to roll the window up, I don't know, about 15 minutes ago. Time to transition off to Highway 50. Alright, I just arrived. Let's see if we can see this. Hour 40, hour 41. Alright, so I drove down here pretty quick, so yeah, I was pretty much on the 65, maybe a bit more. So, with the motor nice and hot, fire, no gas pedal hit. Starts right back up. And let's make sure that it doesn't diesel any. No dieseling. Alright, fantastic. Super nice day at the park. I should be able to get home before sundown. What is it? It's 5:36. Sunset somewhere around 7 o'clock, so with another 10 minutes for daylight, not too bad. Alright, let's make sure it starts. Alright, we got some power, neutral. And we're up and running. Oh, it's a rare occurrence. I'm going to get to pass somebody. Little teeny bit of twilight left. Anyway, filling up. Well, it's almost warm enough to be in the garage to work on things today. And since we're getting late in the year, almost is going to have to be good enough. Otherwise, I'm not going to be able to drive the car anymore. Anyway, the fuel pump's got to come out. And, you know, I knew that there had to be some reason why my mileage was going down. My last trip, it was not very good. Maybe I'll stick a little clip in here and show you how bad the mileage was. But when I got back, I was like, geez, I'm going to have to do another trip and, you know, verify the timing and change it a little tiny bit. When I came back here to verify and check the timing, I realized that the fuel pump was leaking. So after approximately 40 years, I'm not entirely sure how old that fuel pump is, but it's from sometime in the early 1980s. After 40 years, it's finally, I think, blown its diaphragm, so it's got to come out. And I purchased this one right there years ago for a spare, just in case. And when I took the car down to Georgia, which I think was in early 2019, so about 4 years ago, 4.5 years ago, I had that and enough tools to replace it during the trip. So I'll have to pop out a few tools and get this guy in there, and let's verify that it works and doesn't leak. Oh, that's just too bad. Oh, these are the best. The ones with the screws on the top. Absolute best. Hey, let me crack it open. We can take a look and see how much crud's built up on the filter. Oh, look at the sludge that's running through here. What a mess. Still, I tell you what, it's an awful lot easier to deal with this than it is to be putzing around with fuel filters. Well, I tell you, I wish they still made them like this. And if we look closely at this, you can see that the little spindle is contained within the housing with the, the little circlip type things. Same style as what I had, but it does not have a screw top. I imagine there's probably a fuel filter built in there, but you just can't fix it. It's not replaceable. Of course, the box, if you look closely over here, you can see that it is made in China. Well, I've been trying to crank it for a bit here. I'm not entirely sure that it is a functioning fuel pump. I don't want to badmouth it just yet. I'll have to investigate a little tiny bit. Engine vacuum fuel pump pressure. I got this from my dad. I knew I had it laying around. It just took me forever to find it over there in my pile of stuff. Turns out it wasn't in a box, it was actually in a bucket. I was looking at the buckets thinking, why are those buckets not quite compressed the way they should be? Maybe there's something hidden down there in the bottom of one of those buckets, and sure enough, I lifted the bucket up. It had a bunch of stuff in it, including this. Anyway, I've got this guy hooked up to the output. Just disconnected it. Don't really need to have it running. All I want to do is check the fuel pressure. And so I'm going to go turn on the ignition and come back. Because I can do it with the way I got this car rigged up. So all I got to do is put on the starter. And there's definitely pressure, but not a lot. As you no doubt can see, I've taken the distributor out. I just got tired of putzing with the nuts back in here. It's just easier to get to them if this is gone. So while I was looking around in that bucket where I found this, I also found this old fuel pump right here. I don't know if you can read that. It's a Volkswagen. It's a genuine Volkswagen pump. May have come off my 74 over there. Not entirely sure. It's got the screw type top, which I like, so I can get in there and get to the fuel filter. But anyway, what I've got is my new pump sitting right here, and I've got a really old pump right here. And I've got some pliers, and I'm going to squeeze this thing with it out of the car so we can see what's actually happening over here, and I'm pretty sure you're going to see what I see, which is not much. Let's see here. It's stuck on something. It just won't even bounce. Nothing's happening here. This just isn't moving at all. I take that off. Put this one on. See if we can see what happens with this one. I think you can see the needle moving around. So this ancient one has pressure. So I'm going to put this old one in the car. Alright, that other fuel pump, it also had a problem in the way that it fit. See, this guy drops over the studs, no problem. How's my focus? I guess my focus is okay. So this guy just drops over. This other one, it doesn't fit on the studs right, so I keep having to rock it around back and forth before it does anything. Oh, what a pain. But yeah, I'm quite certain that something's wrong with that new pump. So we're going to try this one. Like I said, look at that. Check it out. It says VW. Nice. So, bolted back in. This is the new old pump. That's the old new pump. Appears to be busted. I'm going to assume that what I was doing mechanically down there on the ground to show that it has pressure is going to be valid. So I'm just going to bolt it in. It's not actually bolted, actually, like, you know, the hoses are screwed on. Let's see if it works. I thought I had the key in my pocket. I've done this before where I picked up the wrong key. Oh, I did it again. I got the wrong key. I got two Toyota keys. Sorry, Suzuki keys. A little gas there. Popping is usually an indication of lean, like it doesn't have enough gasoline in it, which makes sense. Definitely got lean. This pump might not be working either. Who knows, maybe that pump was so old that it just broke right now. Alright, this is the old pump that's leaking. So let's see what kind of pressure this thing's like throwing out. Although it's maybe leaking, but it still works, it still pumps. Not entirely sure what happened to it that it's leaking. Got a blown seal in there somewhere, but let's see what it does. Alright, no wonder those other pumps aren't working right. This fuel pump right here works fantastic on this car and appears to be making about 4 psi. And release. Nice. This is what I need right there. So I've got to buy something that pumps out about 4 to 5 psi. Back here with my fuel pumps, and got some lines attached to a bucket of water. I got some clear lines. They're attached to a rocker arm shaft to hold them down in the water. It won't work if you don't do anything. But anyway, I did this to bench test all 3 of these things. So I've got my channel locks, my vice grips to be able to provide some pressure. I can take the channel locks and just simply clamp them on to, you know, just kind of squeeze it, provide pressure. And I tested all of them, nothing, almost nothing. And this one's beautiful, but as I was doing it, it's got a little weep hole down there in the bottom. And ever so slightly, there's a tiny bit of water coming out right down there. So, boy, I was hoping just so much that it was going to be the clamp. It's like maybe my clamp had just somehow or another loosened, but nope, it's coming out down that little weep hole. So this guy's got to go. So let me run over to the computer and show you what I'm thinking as far as that goes. Well, we need to look at fuel pumps. So I always buy stuff at Advanced Auto Parts, so I gave them a shot, but this looks like a particular style that can be bought for a heck of a lot less than, you know, $39. This one over here is actually a distributor style. So it's incorrect and it's massively expensive. So all of your local guys like the AutoZones, O'Reilly's, Advanced, they're going to be non-competitive. So let's go to Amazon. Here's like the cheapest thing I could find. It's a Carter. And what I don't like about it, if you look closely up here at the top of it, it doesn't have that crown sitting up there, which means this guy doesn't have any kind of a built-in filter. I don't like to run a filterless fuel pump, so this Carter guy's out. The reviews say that it should work okay, but it's just out. I'm not going to even consider that. Moving on, the next cheapest thing we can do is the DOS parts. So if you look down here very closely, you can very clearly see a DP stamping on the edge of it there. Another thing to look at the pin that the little rocker arm sits on. This one's got C-clips, which is nice. It's got the dome, which means it's got a filter. So it's not terrible as a consideration. Let's see if we can find it somewhere else. So here's AA. It looks like exactly the same part. $18.95. Ooh, it's a little bit less expensive, right? Wrong. AA charges you an arm and a leg for shipping, somewhere around 20 bucks. So they're out. J-Bugs. Look down here, it says DP. It's exactly the same one, $19.95, reasonable price, but they're out because they charge for shipping. All right, moving on to the next style. This is the Brozol style, which I like because it looks more factory. It's got these little stampings. Look at the crown. You see those little indentations, those 4 indentations? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. This one has the C-clips down at the end, so the pin won't pop out, which is nice. Price is reasonable, but it is, if you look closely, an EMPI. And we're always wary of EMPI products. So, but it's a possibility. It's got a lot of reviews, 120, reasonably high star rating. Okay, not bad. Possibility. Can we get it somewhere else? We go to J-Bugs, decent price, shipping, once again. But wouldn't it be nice if we could actually find a Brozol? Well, even though this thing says EMPI right there, if you come in here and you zoom and you look closely, it says IND.BRAS. This is, I believe, a Brozol. So we look down here at the fine print, and that says Brozol right down there. But wait a minute. Which is which? Which is correct? Well, you come over here and you say it's sold by Appletree Automotive. So I go to Appletree Automotive. Here's Appletree. And if you look closely at these pictures, which aren't very zoomable, you can kind of make out that this is like the opposite side of the fuel pump, and it says Brozol on it. So I believe that Appletree is genuinely selling a Brozol fuel pump. So this is a possibility. It is, however, at 48 bucks, rather pricey. Can we get it somewhere else? How about SIP 1? Well, SIP 1 has priced themselves out. So if you get enough stuff with SIP 1, they'll ship for free, but I'm sorry, at 70 bucks, even if I bought something else at a really great price, that's just too much for this particular pump. So SIP 1 is out. About the Dune Buggy Warehouse. Dune Buggy Warehouse ships with Amazon. So if this thing was in stock, and you can see that it says out of stock, if this thing was in stock, I bet I could get it for roughly this price through Amazon, which would be pretty competitive. Not too shabby. Where else can we get this thing? All right, we go over to AA. Brozol fuel pump, $35.95. Good price, right? Well, if you stick it and you add it to cart and you actually look at how much it gets from them to your door, $58. Sorry, AA has priced themselves out of the ballpark. We move on to another possibility, Peerbird. I don't know if any of you have even seen this thing. This is a new pump. I didn't realize this thing was out, but I think it's been around for maybe 8 to 10 years. I've done some research on it, and like the oldest postings I can find on it go back to about 2018, 2016, something like that. So it hasn't been around long, and I can't find too much about it. Being pricey, there aren't many ratings on it, but everybody seems to like it. So this guy's a possibility. So let's take a look at what you get. All right, first of all, it's got screws around the bottom, so clearly this is a rebuildable type. So let's see what it looks like on the inside. Yay, we found some pictures. So the top of it is actually made out of a plastic, so that's questionable. These are the check valves that allow fluids to come in and fluids to go out. Of course, your screw holes and whatnot. Here's your diaphragm. Here's a little gasket that fits up in here. It's got the fuel filter. I love the fuel filter inside the pump. And here's our spring, which fits down there and runs down and allows the thing to go up, down, up, down, up, down, and pump the fuel. So I like this. I like that Peerbird. It is, however, pricey. So I'm not sure exactly right now what I'm going to do. I got to do something because without the car running, I can't even move it around the garage. Feel free to throw a comment down there. You let me know what you think. I will tell you this. Earlier this year, I bought 2 very inexpensive Chinese ignitions, and they both failed. And then I went with the expensive one, direct from the quality manufacturer,
and it worked. And it's been working ever since I plugged it in, except for my own stupidity where I didn't screw the bolt down tight enough. Anyway, I'm kind of leaning toward the Peerberg, although that is a heck of a lot of money. So I might fall back and just pick up this guy right here for 50 bucks. If you're a regular watcher, go ahead and throw a comment down there and make a suggestion. That might be kind of interesting. My videos don't usually get too many comments. I think I'll end it here. Thanks for watching. More later.